Falcon fan, it's your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about the running backs for our team. Go over a little Falcon news to kind of relate to the running back position. So before we get into that, let's go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell, you know when I drop another video. Please hit the share button so you can share my video throughout the YouTube universe. And then also please hit that like button so you let me know if you like my video. And provide any comments what you think about this particular subject, the running backs. So let's get into it. So the first news, Atlanta news, which relates to the running back. We know we lost our running back coach to Virginia. So we actually replaced him with Michael Petrie. He has some ties to Dave Ragone. So Michael Petrie is going to be our new running back coach. But what are we going to do with that position, our running back position? As of right now, we have two running backs on the roster, which is Mike Davis and Caleb Huntley. We also have Keith Smith and our fullback is on the roster as well. So those three guys are who's in our backfield right now to manage that running back position. Of course, Quadri Ollison and Cordell Patterson are both free agents. So it'll still be determined if they're going to be bringing those guys back. And we just have to wait to see on that in the new league year when free agency starts. But just like all my other videos, of course, guys, I'm going to talk about prospects coming out the draft for running back. And personally, my opinion, I probably would go ahead and take a running back from this class just to have some fresh legs back there. Like I said, I would not hate if they bring Cordell Patterson back as well. But definitely, I think we still need to go in the draft and actually draft a running back. And it don't have to be early in the draft. But we're going to go over the top 5 running backs that's on the big board right now. Of course, this could change. And we might want to go with a different kind of running back, depending on who we keep in there with the schemes and stuff like that. So we'll just go over some of those options as well. So first of all, the first running back that I'm going to talk about today, and like I said, these are the running backs on the big board. So the 5 top running backs on the big board, and that's what I'm gonna go off today. Of course, like I said, I'm gonna add an extra running back in just in case. You know, we make some moves and knowing free agents, a running back that I would like to actually add to this team that probably could add a different dynamic to our backfield as well. So the first running back I'm gonna talk about is Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. This guy is 5'10", 210 pounds. He had 1,636 yards. That's 6.2 yards per carry. He also had 18 touchdowns and about 13 catches. So he had a good year with Michigan State. He actually transferred from Notre Dame. And so he played 1 year at Michigan State coming in. And those are the numbers he put up. He might be one of the most explosive backs coming out. But personally, I would not take him in the first round. Of course not. If we can get him maybe with our 3rd pick, which is our 2nd pick in the 2nd round, which would be like 58, I wouldn't have an issue with that. But we do need to pick a running back up. And if we was to pick somebody like Kenneth Walker up at number 58, I'll be cool with that. So that's Kenneth Walker. The next guy I'm gonna talk about is Breece Hall from Iowa. 6'1", 220 pounds, 472 yards. That's 5.8 yards to carry. He had 20 touchdowns and 30 catches. So some of these guys, he has a little bit more experience coming out of the backfield, catching balls. We're definitely gonna be able to utilize something like that coming out the backfield. And he's a big guy. He's 220 pounds, 6'1". That's some kind of running back that I think that Arthur Smith would love to see in his scheme. So maybe somebody like Breece Hall could be in, and I wouldn't hesitate to pick him up in the 3rd or 4th round, maybe in the 4th round for a running back. Somebody like Breece Hall, if he's still there. 3rd on the list, we have Karen Williams from Notre Dame. 5'9", 199 pounds, 1,002 yards over the season, 4.9 yards per carry, and he had 14 catches. He's on the big board. I'm personally, I'm not really impressed by his numbers that he put up. Did play with Notre Dame, so he played within like a pro-style offense, running the ball. But I think they more passed the ball than ran it. That's probably why his numbers are kind of low. But like I said, guys, all the running backs that I would pick, they would be picked in the later round anyway. So I don't have any issues with taking Karen Williams in the later rounds, maybe 4th or 5th round pick. I would be fine for that. Like I said, they need to go get a young running back to come into the program. Anyway, I know they have Caleb Huntley on the roster, who actually showed some bright spots. So maybe if they think about bringing somebody like Cordell Patterson back, and then they roll with Caleb Huntley, maybe, or even bring Cordell Ollison back, somebody like that. Cordell Ollison had been in the league for 4 seasons. That's why he's a free agent now. So somebody like Karen Williams probably would be a good pick to pick up like in the 4th or 5th round. The 4th running back we're going to talk about is Isaiah Spiller, which is from Texas A&M, 6'1", 215 pounds, 1,011 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, 25 touchdowns, and 25 catches. So he was a little bit more dynamic, being able to find the end zone, 25 touchdowns. It don't seem like he was used a lot in the passing game. So definitely he would be somebody that we can definitely look at. But from the London Falcons, I'm going to make sure I get the value for somebody like Isaiah Spiller. So like I said, once again, guys, it'd be somebody that I would pick in later rounds as running back. And really, I wouldn't pick any running back. Maybe, like I said, Kenneth Walker, some of the flashes that he showed, I would pick him. Earliest I would pick a running back is at 58. So, but some of these other running backs that I called out, definitely would not. 4th or 5th round is where I would be picking a running back. Remember, we got Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman from later rounds, and they worked out well for us because both of those running backs was the running backs that we had on the team when we actually went to the Super Bowl. So you definitely don't have to pick a back up high, and I definitely don't think any of these running backs are worth their first high 2nd round pick. That's just my opinion, but we'll just have to see what the Falcons take on it, what they decide to do with their running back position. And then the last running back that I'm going to talk about is Kennedy Brooks from Oklahoma. He's 5'11", 215 pounds, 1,253 yards, 6.3 yards to carry, 13 touchdowns, and 9 catches. So, really, like I said, I'm really not impressed by any of the running backs in this draft, besides maybe Kenneth Walker, like I said, but still wouldn't be somebody that I would take in the earlier rounds. So those are the 5 big running backs on the big board that's out there right now. Definitely that could change once the pro days start, the scouting combine starts. These guys do interviews, they do workout with teams and stuff. They definitely can be pushed up the leaderboard for us to draft stock. Also, just keep in mind that the Senior Bowl is going this week, so a lot of some guys out of that could also help their stock and push their draft position up as well. But what I want to talk about was, and I'm gonna show a little bias here and talk about A running back that I would love the Falcons to get that would be a great change of pace back that has showed very explosive plays in college, and that's James Cook. I definitely would be somebody that if the Falcons could bring somebody like James Cook in, and with a another person like Cordell Patterson, bringing him back, that could be something that really would work well for the Atlanta Falcons if we could do something like that. So definitely, if the Falcons could somehow able to get, and we go back to some of those big receivers that I talked about earlier videos, and then we get somebody like a James Cook, that offense could be just as dynamic as it used to be back when we had some of our explosive offenses in the past. So definitely, if the Atlanta Falcons was able to get somebody like James Cook, right now I think he's like the 8th running back listed on the big board. But if we can somehow steal that pick and pick somebody like James Cook, that would be great, because he's a great receiver out of the backfield. He's not afraid to run between the lines, and that breakaway speed that he has is just something that you can't teach. And we could have somebody like James Cook with that explosiveness would be awesome for this Atlanta Falcon team. So sorry about that, guys. So with that being said, those are some of the things that I think about the running back position. So if you think about it like this, of course, we always talk about free agency and how that's going to dictate the draft. I think free agency will dictate the position for the running back more than any other position that we have, because they do have to make a decision on Mike Davis if they decide to cut Mike Davis, because his disappointing season that he had, it's a $750,000 cut, which the Falcons could definitely live with something like that on the dead cap. So I don't know if they're going to bring that Mike Davis back. However, looking at, like I said, he's really the only running back that we have on the roster from last year, because like I said, Caleb Huntley was more on the practice squad player, so he didn't actually make the team, the 53 at the beginning. So between those two guys, Mike Davis has the seniority, he has the experience, he has somebody that we could bring in. We do have him on the books. His cap hit will be about 3.5 this year. So it depends on what they decide to do with Mike Davis. It depends on how much money Cordell Patterson is asking, because he did have a desire to come back and play with his team. So all those things really going to dictate what we decide to do in the draft, what happens in free agency. So it's going to be very important, like I said, especially for this position, because this position is almost as bad as the receiver position. So right now our offensive weapons that we have right now is looking really, really slim. And we really got to rebuild our receiver core, our running back core. We got one good tight end, which is in Kyle Pitts. Other two made probably a blocking tight end. So it's a lot of positions that the Atlanta Falcons need to fill this year just on offense. And we really, if you're thinking, we really need to address defense as well. So it's a lot of holes that we got to fill. It's going to be important to see can we get some of these guys back from free agency, maybe a Russell Gage to come back on running back, like I said, a Cordell Patterson to come back to help us out. But those kind of pieces that we got can help us fill in some holes. So when we do decide they're going to draft, it won't be, we have to be reaching for needs. So free agency is really going to be important, and I'm definitely going to start talking more about free agency here late later on this off season. I do have a couple more positions to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about quarterbacks next. We need to really look at that position and see what the Falcons' direction they're going to go in with the quarterbacks. Then we'll just talk about special teams, our kicker, and our punter position. So those are the things that we have to talk about. Other than that, guys, that's all I have for today, talking about those running backs. You guys let me know what you think we should do with the running back position. I know everybody feel like we should bring Cordell Patterson back. I agree with that, but we need to be able to do it at a good price. What you think we should do with Mike Davis? Should we cut Mike Davis? Should we keep Mike Davis on the roster? Should we bring Cordell Patterson back? He showed some flashes this year when he actually got an opportunity to run the ball. I actually thought he ran better than Mike Davis. So if they were to bring Cordell Patterson back, that would be awesome. And then Caleb Huntley. He had some flashes in the preseason last year. Showed that he does run the ball hard. I just thought he was so far down on the depth chart that he was just a cut casualty because we had to get to the 53-man roster. But I do think he's going to have opportunity to make this team this year. But we have to see what these guys decide to do in free agency, and then to carry on with the draft before we get to the competition piece. So you guys, let me know what you think about running back position. Which direction would you go if you were the Atlanta Falcons with that position? So that's it. That's it for today. It's your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. Peace.